Hello, this is Kent once again with KJS Painting and Renovations. We're back for the third day here and part 3 of our stucco patching. We're doing how to properly patch cracked and broken stucco. Day 3. I said yesterday before I signed off that I used a Thompson water seal on the wood. I made sure not to get it on the concrete here because that's, you know, it's an oil-based product. So I'm not going to use a bonding agent here because I scrubbed it and washed it, and it's a flat paint sticking very nicely to the stucco. So we got the trowel here, sponge float. I operate out of Palo Alto. You can get these at Bruce Bauer Building Supply. You can get a lot of this stuff. Alright, we're back now. I've got my bucket of stucco mixed up here. I'm going to put down the key here. We want to keep it wet before we start. That's going to make sure we get a good bond. I brush some of the stucco into the key, physically brush it in there so that it improves the adhesion. So with that edge still wet, start packing the stucco first into that key, and then you could start just going up from there with your float. So, and the trick is to use a lot of muscle, just really work it in there. That's going to give you a good tight bond. So we're going to put this camera down and really get the job done. Well, it looks like the universe is working correctly today because it did not rain on me, and I managed to get this in just one bucket. So one bucket I got the coat on. It's good to let it sit about 20 minutes or so to set up a little bit. So we'll talk about what you should do. First of all, it's good to wear some, see, I've got this hat, even though it's not sunny. You don't want to get this stuff on your hands. You certainly don't want to reach into it and be using your hands. It's just really, like if there's lime or something here that attacks your hands, it's just bad. So you want to keep your hands clean and let this set up a little bit before I scratch it. It's good to have some different tools, smaller tools, so when you're getting into areas like this, kind of hard to get into. You can get in there too if the float's too big. Also, you don't want it to, this first coat, you really don't want it to be, to go above this edge here and bow out. You want it to, you don't want it to be sticking out there, otherwise it's going to get a bulge. And so it's starting to set up a little bit, and we're gonna scratch it. I've got, this is not the proper scratcher, but I've got this, which is, can scratch. You want to scratch horizontal, so that gives the finish coat something to grab onto. So we're going to shut the camera off now and then scratch it. So we're just about done here now. I'm using a one coat fibered stucco, and the last phase of the job here is taking the sponge float, get it pretty dry, and this is what makes the job blend in. You know, we have to blend it in here. So we don't want this scratch coat higher than the existing surface here. Otherwise, when you come back to do the final coat, there's going to be a big lump, a big bump. And we have to let this dry for 2 days, and we'll come back 2 days from now and do the final coat. Up here on the roof where we have the leak, what I've done is I've taken this primer. It's an appropriate primer. There's other primers you could use, but I brushed it in here, and then what I'll do after that is take some of the Sikaflex, the caulking sealant, polyurethane caulking, and then there's also it's like a siliconized elastomeric stuff similar to this roof here, and fill it in with that. This is actually a good day for this sort of job because we want to keep this, supposed to keep this continuously wet for 24 hours And as you can see, we've got some weather coming in. We might have some rain coming in, which is fine. Might be tough for me getting home on the motorcycle, but this will be fine because this will be set up enough by then. So it's a pretty forgiving finish to match. What's not forgiving is this power. We got power coming in from the street. Comes straight in here. There's no breaker on this, so keep your distance. Best off using a fiberglass ladder for that.